gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot, absolutely.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Slightly Biased show here at the beautiful Haymaker Studios. Look how great we all look. Look how performative I look, by the way. Got my laptop. I've got a notebook, 3 books, never been read, by me at least. Great Nowitzki. I should probably read that one. Sneaker of the Year, Kobe Bryant. I actually did read this Kobe Bryant book. How about it, folks? Welcome on in. We got a lot to discuss today, including the incredible Cooper Flagg. 42 points. The most ever by an 18-year-old. One of the best scoring games by a rookie ever. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about his ceiling, his upside, what that means. We're also going to talk about Denver-Houston because that game was a little bit nutty. A lot to go over there. The Clippers? Ugh. They're such a disgrace, aren't they? We call them the sad Clippers, folks. They're so pathetic, really, they are. Welcome on in. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Head over to the Haymaker channel if you're watching this over on Slightly Biased and subscribe there. The link is in the description. Hit the like button if you haven't liked the stream yet. Helps out tremendously, especially early on in the stream's life cycle. And it lets YouTube know I should push this content out. It really is the best thing you can do for a channel. Besides donating me a bunch of money, which I'm never opposed to, it's the best way to help out a channel, believe it or not. Let's get right into it, and let's talk about Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks. Mainly Cooper Flagg, because really what the fuck is there to talk about the Dallas Mavericks? Not much. The Mavs lose to the Jazz last night, 140-133. Overtime game. The Mavericks fall apart late offensively. The real story, though, is Cooper Flagg, who put up 42 points, which is the most ever by an 18-year-old. We only have a couple more days we can say that. He's turning 19, I think, Saturday, something like that. Feel a little parasocial knowing these guys' exact birthdays, but it is what it is. 42 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists against not a very good Utah Jazz defense, but it just begs the question with him and a lot of stuff. I actually want to pull up his recent stat numbers because it just feels like over the last, 15 games, Cooper Flagg has solidified himself as truthfully one of the best players in the league. And I'm not even saying that in a slightly biased, wink, wink, nudge, nudge way. I'm saying that in this guy looks like a top 50 player in the league. I'm looking right now at his last 10 game numbers. Okay. 21 points per game over his last 10 on 57% true shooting. Now, what makes that number crazy to me, the fact that he's shooting 19% from 3, yet converting at the rim at such a high rate that his efficiency numbers are still good. Here, can we pull up these numbers on the screen? How far back do we need to go for this to not kind of be crazy? We're going back a long ways, folks. We're at 20 games. Last 19 games. So first 7 games of the season. That's kind of when the Mavs did the dumbass Cooper Flagg at the point guard experiment. Those 7 games, 13 points, 50% true shooting, getting his feet wet, whatever the case may be. Since then, really since they added a point guard into the mix, 20 points per game, nearly 4 assists per game. True shooting up to 57%, which is around league average. I don't know what the league average is this year, actually, but kind of around league average. The 2-point percentage, though, that's the number that really sticks out to me. Nearly 60% on twos. It's gone up a whopping 16% in his last 19 games. That's a massive sample size, obviously. Now, the 3-ball has completely abandoned him. I'm willing to chalk that up to the thumb because it makes sense to me. His free throw numbers have also kind of cratered in those games since. So it all sort of makes sense to me. One of the things that I found so interesting is, early on when Cooper Flagg was playing the point guard, obviously something we all knew was going to be a disaster, and it was a disaster right away. One of the things that's interested me over the last few games since they've added in this point guard, the last 20 or so games since they've added in a point guard, is the fact that his usage hasn't really gone down, right? But he just feels so much more involved in the offense. And a game like last night, Cooper pops off in the first half. I think he goes 24 points, 7 of 9 from the field in the first half of the game. And the second half, the Mavs offense, for lack of a better word, the Mavs offense shits themselves. And they forget how to score points. But and the Mavs lose. And a big reason for that, like if we're just going to be upfront and honest, a big reason for that is because Cooper Flagg had the ball in his hands and they weren't running a point guard. They had lineups out there where Cooper Flagg was basically the point guard, and he turned the ball over. He was forcing kind of some difficult shots, and it led to some pretty gross offense, if I'm just being honest. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I am. I know everybody wants to hate on Jason Kidd and whatnot, but I like that decision in that moment because your 18-year-old superstar has brought you this far. He's having the best scoring game of his career. Nobody on the Utah Jazz can stop his dribble drive. And if you go down because Cooper Flagg, misses a couple shots here or there, turns the ball over here or there, so what? Like, no, and I love all of these guys, but I would much rather watch Cooper Flagg lose us a game late down the stretch because he has a couple turnovers than, and again, I don't even mean this to come across the way it's going to come across, but I'd much rather that than like watch P.J. Washington kind of carry us in a loss or watch Najee Marshall kind of carry us. And again, I love those guys to death, but you guys get what I'm saying. Go down with your 18-year-old. So what? Right? So what? Go down with your 18-year-old, and whatever happens, happens. 42 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks. I'm starting to wonder. Pull up this stat. This shit is crazy. Most points in a game by an 18-year-old. Look at this list. 42 by Cooper Flagg, obviously the most. We talked about that already. 37 by LeBron, 36 by LeBron, 35 by Cooper. I mean, just look at the company. Look at this list. That's pretty good company to be in. And, okay, so Kobe has the second most points ever by an 18-year-old. I forgot that they changed this rule somewhat recently because I was looking at it. I was like, how did he have the second most? He came into the league. He was drafted. He was 17 years old. Is that right? He was 17 years old when he was drafted. I should look at the Kobe Bryant book I got here off to the side. Maybe they've got a little tidbit on that in the book. I mean, look at this. This is just insane. You shouldn't come into the league this good, this early. We going into the season, talked about what we thought Cooper Flagg could be, top 50 player, obviously. But he's exceeded my expectations in every sense of the word. And it's because of his dribble drive. It's because of his penetration. It's because of how easy he gets to the rim. And it's just like, if he's doing that now at 18 years old, what is he going to look like when he's 24? And I said this on Locked On last night, and I was I didn't want to say it because it's saying a lot, but then I'm like, well, why would you put a ceiling on him? If he has like a Giannis-type physical development, strength-wise, could he be a force of nature physically like that? Could he be a force of nature physically? I don't know. It wasn't all Cooper. Clay took some stupid shots that he missed. For some reason, they had Clay instead of Max. Well, I kind of understood what the Mavs were doing late in that game because Daniel Gafford was on a minute restriction. So you kind of needed some size out there, and that just naturally, and they did the stretch where they didn't have a point guard. So you had Coop at the point guard, and it was ugly. They had to put a guard in. They had to put Nembhard in, and somebody's just going to have to not be on the floor at that point. So Clay, that three Clay took really wasn't a bad shot. It was just rushed. So I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. By the way, Gafford on a minute restriction. I said this on Locked On last night. 12 minutes, didn't look particularly good. Honestly, has not looked good at all this season. I brought up this stat that I saw floating around Twitter about some of the players who have had the biggest drop-off year over year so far this year, and Gafford was in the top 10 in that metric that they had. He's clearly injured, and I'm just not sure who's benefiting from him. I'm not sure who's benefiting really from Gafford being out there looking like this. Like, if he's on a minute restriction and he just doesn't look good, I'm not entirely sure who stands to gain from him being out there. Who stands to gain what from him being out there? Because he's not looking good. It's hurting the team. He's clearly injured. Please shut him down. This isn't even a tank thing. Just shut him down so he can get healthy. Okay? Trade PJ. They can't trade PJ. Why has PJ Cotton so much shit from Mavs fans? Is he like the new guy? No, this is not pre-recorded. Is he the new guy that's like, we now have to blast PJ Washington because he has the ball in his hands all the time and he misses a few floaters here and there? He does have the most government mandated PJ turnover. He does have the most trade upside for sure. Outside of AD. So my stance is I still do believe AD is going to have a decent trade market, regardless of what gets told to us. I'm holding out on that delusion. I'm holding out on that copium, okay? AD's going to get a solid trade return. PJ, though, PJ could be a team's Aaron Gordon. You want to know how I know that? He was the Mavericks' Aaron Gordon. So I do think there's a team out there that could talk themselves into trading multiple picks for PJ. If that's the route you want to go. Honestly, I'm not even that sure I want to trade PJ Washington if the Mavs do go the trade route. But it'll be interesting. You know, they've got a lot of ammunition for trades in the offseason if that's the route they want to go. And it's the route I think they should go. Unless you get a crazy offer. Of course not. The Mavs don't make the finals without PJ Washington. That goes without being said. That's why I said a team could look at PJ potentially as their own Aaron Gordon because he was the Mavericks' Aaron Gordon. He was the Mavs' Aaron Gordon. While we're talking about the Mavs real quick, there was I wasn't done talking about Cooper Flagg and fawning over him. So basically, when Cooper Flagg came into the league, right, my thought watching some of his college stuff was the same as a lot of people. One of the common criticisms of him was, yeah, he's in college, a great athlete, obviously. His ability to get to the rim was fantastic. Even in the half court, there was some finishing numbers, like in terms of his efficiency, that was a little bit sketchy. But one of the big complaints was, well, he's not like this Zion Williamson level athlete. He's not like this Amen Thompson level athlete where he'll just be able to get to the rim no matter what. But he's able to use that physicality in college. He doesn't have like a deep bag that helps him get to the rim. So will this be able to translate for against NBA defenders? And the fact that it has is the most surprising thing to me, right? The fact that he's been able to get to the rim as easily as he has, the fact that he's been able to finish around the rim as easy as he has, the fact that his left hand is as good as it is, it gives me so much confidence that once we continue to develop, once he continues to fill out physically, once he continues to get stronger, he's going to be one of these, one of the most physical, imposing forces in the NBA, right? And the fact that the 3-ball hasn't even caught up yet. What the fuck is the ceiling for this guy? I don't know. I don't think you can have a ceiling for him. It's lagging. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So anyways, Cooper Flagg, shout out to him. There's been some like interesting kind of rumblings. I don't really want to like dive into these every single time one comes out, but it inevitably does. The Toronto Raptors are showing interest in Domantas Sabonis and Anthony Davis per Jake Fisher. So Fisher knows his stuff. Fisher knows his stuff, obviously, and he does work with Stein, who's the ultimate Mavs guy. But the Raptors are an interesting one for Anthony Davis. What does the trade look like for Dallas? I don't know. I don't want Jakob Poeltl's piece of garbage contract because that's exactly what it is. I don't want. I get like RJ Barrett's having a nice year, and he's become one of the more underappreciated players in the league, probably. But I'm not that interested in RJ Barrett. Quickly, like these are the contracts he'd be getting back, and I'm not. I'm just not in on trading AD, man. Like, am I crazy for that? Am I crazy for the AD stuff? I'm just the trade value that I'm seeing for AD is so bad that I, for the life of me, cannot convince myself that it's worth it. You know what I mean? I cannot, for the life of me, get there. That it's worth trading him for Jakob Poeltl and the 20th pick in the draft. Like, at that point, what are we even doing? You got to pay, if it's a money thing, you got to pay Jakob Poeltl. And he's terrible. I don't understand it at all. So that's just something to monitor. Domantas Sabonis actually makes some sense for them. Domantas Sabonis. Oh, that team would be hilarious. Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Domantas Sabonis. Kings 2.0. Come on down. That's fantastic stuff. What is it? Seth Davis. It's really cute how people say Cooper Flagg was running from this draft class or suggest that he wouldn't have been number 1 pick if he hadn't reclassified. Do people say he's running from the draft class? How does that even make sense? How do you run from a draft class by classifying a year in advance? Wouldn't the argument be, since, like, if you're running from a draft class, you go to the one afterwards? How do you run from a draft class? Do people actually say shit like this? Makes no sense at all to me. We're gonna iron out some of these. We're gonna iron out some of these connection stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Chicago, AD to Chicago. I mean, think about it. Think about the Chicago trade return. This is why I've always said push the brakes on the AD trade. What does trading Anthony Davis for Nikola Vucevic and Zach Collins, what does that get you as a franchise? And a couple picks that might be late. Where are we going? I don't even think that's worth it. 1, 2, are we not sure? Could you not get something better in the summer? I'm not entirely sure why it has to be make the Anthony Davis trade in the next 2 months. Why couldn't it be in the summer? I don't really understand. I'm with you on AD. If the trade packages are what everyone says they are, then no thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Post on the Haymaker stream about a fix for audio issues. Hopefully whoever is producing for Haymaker knows how to dial this. I'm sure we got it. Thank you. Thank you, though, for the I do appreciate the heads up on that. We'll get it all figured out. Don't worry about it. It's the first one. I watch a ton of prospects every year. It'd definitely be a competition on like 2025, but Coop would still go 1. So my thing is, it's like he won National Player of the Year in college last year, starting the college season as a 17-year-old. Okay? Now he's 18 years old and is dropping 42 points in an NBA game. He's averaging, what was the numbers that I had up? Over his last 19 games, he's averaging 20 points on league average efficiency as an 18-year-old. What on earth are we even talking about? Stacking picks is great, but Coop is too good to get a top pick. And that's part of my thing too. Like, if we head over to Tankathon, and this is a part that I'm trying to hammer down. Like, I need people to understand this. Here, can we pull up Tankathon real quick? The teams that are below you in the standings are so atrocious. Okay, we're talking dregs. You're not catching up. Look at this website. Look at this website. Tankathon, I appreciate everything that you've got going for us. Do I need 6 ads? Could we maybe do it just 1? I'm okay with the Dasani ad over there in the corner. Do I need the Dasani? Do I need the Minute Maid Zero Sugar? Do I need the Spectrum Espanol ad at the bottom? Do I need the pop-up video ad? I mean, it's a little preposterous, man. Okay, you're not catching the Wizards. You're not catching the Pelicans. I cannot believe the Pelicans are 5-22. That's actually insane. God, the Clippers, what an embarrassment last night. We could talk about them here in a second. 1-9 in their last 10. You're not catching the Kings, who are going to blow it up. You're not catching the Pacers. You're not catching the Nets, because the Nets are going to go full speed ahead on a tank. Same with Utah, who did beat you last night. But they'll go full steam ahead on a tank. Some of these teams I'm mentioning, how many of those are would Cooper Flagg be the best player on? How many of these teams would Cooper Flagg be the best player on? He'd be the best player on the Wizards. I like Alex Sarr. I think Cooper Flagg would be the best player on the Wizards. Pelicans, if they shut down Zion or something, probably. Could make an argument for Trey Murphy. Queen and Fears are awesome, but I think Coop's better than those guys right now. Clippers, obviously not, but who knows what direction they're going to take. The Kings? Is Cooper Flagg the best player on the Sacramento Kings, even if everybody's healthy? Let's think about that. Would you rather have rookie Cooper Flagg, or Sabonis? That feels really disrespectful. That feels really disrespectful. What do you guys think about that? I'm actually curious. I think you probably still have Sabonis, but it's kind of a hilarious thought exercise. I'd rather have Cooper Flagg than Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, without a shadow of a doubt. Pacers in their current form, like Siakam's still great. Kind of crazy they're 6-10. I thought they'd be a little bit more competitive. They have been better lately. Brooklyn, absolutely, if they shut MPJ down or something. So that's kind of my thing. Is it's like the idea behind tanking. You'd have to do so much to bottom out at a level in which you're like in the top 5 or 6 in lottery odds. So my idea is like, let's play the season out. I doubt they'll end up being a top 8 seed. I really doubt they'll end up in the playoffs. So then you're back, what? You've got maybe the 13th best odds, 14th best odds on the lottery. Is it worth selling pieces on your team for scraps and shutting guys down and having this disgusting end of the season if it means improving your lottery odds by 4%? I get it, but here we go. Kelly Olynyk guy. Here we go. 3 things before I have to go. Your setup looks like Pierce Morgan. Okay. 2, I'm going to get my ring tonight. Okay. Congratulations. And Lakers are getting Herb Jones. Bye, Unc. Have a nice day. Bye. All right, guys. Round of applause for Kelly Olynyk, guys. Staple here on the channel. Coop's a way better passer than Zach and DeMar. Oh, I'm being dead serious. Like, in a vacuum, there's no way in hell I'm trading Cooper Flagg. If I have to win a game tomorrow, I'd rather have Cooper Flagg than Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Sabonis, I could hear an argument. Hey man, watch what you say. We're about to play them, and what if they lose? Play who are the Mavs playing next? The Kings? Are they playing the Kings next? Sabonis over Flagg right now. If you just had to win one game, and you guys know how I feel about Sabonis. All right, this is where we need to lock in because I got about an hour on these shows. These are going to be an hour-long streams, and we're figuring everything out. The connection looks good on my end now. Is it good? Is it better for you guys? Here's where we need to lock in because it's 22 minutes in, and I've just been rambling nonstop. So, Cooper Flagg, incredible. We love him. Dallas Mavericks. A game like last night, I love me some Nimby, and he had 11 assists. How about that? I saw a stat today that Ryan Nembhard has 3 games with 10 assists or more, and every other rookie combined has 3. One of those is Coop. Who are the other ones? Has Queen? Are the other 2 Queen? Would be my guess. I understand your point about just letting things play out this year, but I don't think you can sit still and not stack up on draft assets. No, I mean, I agree with you ultimately. But I guess my thing at the end of the day is like, why can't you do some of these trades we're talking about in the summer? None of these guys are expirings, right? So I think there's even an argument to be had that like Clay, who's an expiring come summertime, is probably a little bit more valuable in June or July. If we don't trade AD when it comes to re-sign him, what's the deal you're comfortable with giving a then older AD? I just feel the value will continue to depreciate and the contract won't. So, what up, TGK? So my thing here is like, you don't have to extend AD. I think that's kind of a common misconception where it's like, if you don't trade AD now, then you're forced to give him a max extension in the summer. It's like, why? You don't have to do that. I think you could play it out, and I feel like he could be one of these guys that's easier to trade in the summer if that's the route you want to take. It kind of hurt us with Luka. It took 6 years to put a competent team around Luka. Well, the Luka thing's a little bit more complicated because you had to trade your pick in the next year's draft to get him, which he would do 10 times out of 10. And that, speaking of 10, that pick ended up being the 10th overall pick, and it was Cam Reddish, who's out of the league, right? So I guess it didn't really hurt. I don't know who the Mavs would have drafted. Who was around? What draft was that? 2019? I'm trying to think who was around the 10th overall pick. But anyways, and then they made the KP trade, which in hindsight, obviously, failure, right? And it locked them up for years and years and years, probably like a half decade they spent locked up because of that trade. But you would do that trade, though. It made sense at the time. They were a great pairing in theory, and they were really good in the bubble. So they did try with Luka, but they just swung and missed on their biggest thing, and that really hindered them. That really sort of put some shackles on them moving forward. And this is also a different front office. Okay, so when Jason Kidd becomes a GM in the summer and Sean Sweeney's back as the head coach, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know. We'll see what Kidd values as the GM of the team. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, guys. From me, Mr. Performative. If Clay keeps playing like how he's playing, a team like the Pistons will definitely give up some seconds for him. Oh, for sure. You could get some seconds for Clay, without a doubt. Some seconds for Clay. Anyways, as I was saying about Nimby, Part of the thing about him is, man, he's so bad defensively. And he's just so small that I think it really kind of limits what he can be moving forward. But I still love his game. I love him offensively. Clay's been playing really good as of late. Musa gave you a lot last night. It was a pretty fun game. I think everybody got some enjoyment. Max Christie was unbelievable defensively. I'm so bought in on him. I just love him as a piece moving forward because, what is he, 22, 23 years old? He's having a great year. I do wish we could get his three-point volume up. You know, I don't like him taking two three-point attempts in a game. That number needs to be 6 or 7. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding about it being 6 or 7, but I honestly didn't mean for it to come off that way. Keontae George, Dallas, Texas, stand up. Everybody, round of applause for Keontae George. We support our Dallas athletes. We do. He's been phenomenal this year. His shooting off the dribble, when you drop on screens, it's lethal. It is absolutely lethal. And we love that he's turned into the player that he's turned into. Filipowski, if you guys were on the stream last night, my watch party of this game, famous last words from Slightly Biased. I said that, are we sure Kyle Filipowski is an NBA guy? Just completely and totally dominated the rest of the game. Put the Mavericks away. You hate to see it. You'd really do. I mean, the Jazz have to trade Larry Markkinen. Right? Sweeney not leaving San Antonio. When Jason Kidd becomes the GM of the team and a head coaching vacancy opens up and Sean Sweeney comes back, just know you heard it here first. Just know you heard it here first, okay? Another big game from last night. Houston and another big game. I'm saying that like Dallas, Utah was a big game. But the big game from last night, Denver and Houston. Yeah, I mean, you watch a game like that, and it's funny watching the Mavs Jazz last night. And then this morning I tuned into Houston Denver, watched that game back. I'm like, oh, God. It's hard to believe that my team used to be like kind of close to this level. You know? Like what my team used to be in these talks. And now look at me. I'm in the slums talking about Ryan Nembhard's two-way rookie impact and a 7-point loss to the Utah Jazz. Fuck you, Nico Harrison. I'll never forgive you. But I am happy Coop's here. Man, this game was fantastic, this Rockets-Nuggets game. It's crazy to me. Houston was very upset by the officiating in this game, and I think they had a right to be upset because late in this game, some of the ticky-tack calls they were giving it to Denver, especially while the Nuggets were in the bonus late, were bogus. Some of these like reach-in fouls on Amin Thompson, I thought were just horrible calls given the way that game had been officiated up until that point. And, of course, you had – I mean, did we get a better angle of the Tim Hardaway Jr. tripping on that inbound pass? Because I still don't think that was a good call. I still don't think that was a good call there. Maybe there was another angle. The tripping stuff is just so – it was a foul? Okay. All right. Still just feels a little bit shitty that that's how that game kind of ends. But there was a whole overtime period. And I felt like – and the Rockets – and you guys correct me if I'm wrong here. I felt like the Rockets – and they've had games like this at times where they can get a little caught up in some of the officiating stuff. I think it's sort of a trickle-down effect. It usually is with some of these teams and some of these guys. Like, I think the Lakers have it. They've always had it, but now Luka sort of multiplies it. Şengün cries a lot. He's talking to the refs every single second of the game. And sometimes I think that sort of has a trickle-down effect. And Ime Udoka's not shy either. But I think they had a gripe with some of these these calls that went against them late in this game. I just feel like in overtime, it felt like they were almost sort of defeated just by the officiating in that call at the end of the game on that inbound pass. But this was a really high-level basketball game. Both of these teams are very good. I mean, for the Rockets, to me, it's crazy that they're at this level, right, where they are, in my opinion, right there, neck and neck. With the Nuggets, I think you could even make arguments the Rockets, like, who would win in that series? I don't know. I think that's a conversation you could have. And they're without Fred VanVleet, right? They're without Fred VanVleet. Not a lot of eye contact. I'm getting used to reading things on here than reading things here. Okay, but no Fred VanVleet. One of these things I've started to do with some of these teams, and now I'm now I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious. Now I'm going to look at the screen more. One of these things I like to do with these teams is figure out who their weakest player is on the court at any given moment and think, okay, what if I replace that player with a top 75 player? And is that possible? For the Rockets, you look at what they've got in their starting five. It'd probably be Okogie, even though he's been good so far this year, and he was pretty good defensively last night. But if you were to replace Josh Okogie with like an actual guard, and that kind of moves your lineup around. Now Amen Thompson's not playing point guard. Amen Thompson fan club, stand back and stand by, unfortunately. And hopefully Redna's not in the chat because he's going to give it to me if he is. But could you replace Josh Okogie just in the starting lineup with another guard? And is that possible for them? And the answer to that question is yes. They have the trade assets. They have the contracts. Who would that guy be? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, yeah, Kyrie would be really interesting, but I'm not all that interested in as a Mavs fan personally. But I do think Kyrie on the Rockets would be absolutely disgusting. This Houston team could compete with anybody. Maybe this is just recency bias because the Thunder just lost over the weekend. And you guys know how I feel about the Thunder, but sometimes I watch the Nuggets and I'm like, that's kind of a difficult team to play in the playoffs, man. That's kind of a difficult team. Jokic is just on another planet entirely. He's so unbelievable. The fact that it's even an argument who the best player in the league is, like, you can make real arguments. Just goes to show the era that we're in is just one of the best in the history of the game. That's just the truth. Jamal Murray, I think, absolutely will be a first-time All-Star, especially with the new voting setup where there's the world team and the USA team. We're going to get the first All-Star game for Jamal Murray, and it's going to be well-deserved. He was awesome last night. He's been awesome all season long. When he's on, he is the thing that matters the most for the Nuggets. Obviously, it's Jokic, but I'm saying if you don't have Jamal Murray playing at that All-Star level, which he's played at in the past, just hasn't made one, they win a championship with him playing at that level. If he's injured, dealing with calf problems, whatever the case may be, that we've seen in years past, they're not as strong as a team, right? They're not as strong of a team. Can we talk real briefly about Spencer Jones? So Spencer Jones has sort of just been plugged into the lineup with Christian Brown being out, Aaron Gordon being out. Peyton Watson only plays 5 minutes last night with a what did they say his injury was? A trunk injury? What is that? Do we have any doctors in the chat? What is a trunk injury? A left trunk injury. That is no bullshit what they ruled him out with. Is that like a back thing?
Is this a junk and trunk situation?
What stop looking at us, too much eye contact. He's an elephant. Okay. I didn't know that. Good for Peyton Watson, I guess. Trunk injury. Did we get any did we get anything from our Twitter doctors on that? He was holding like his side though. Here, pull this up. This is what it literally says. Status alert. Peyton Watson trunk. Is bro a car? Oh my God. So I actually have to say something about that. In Britain, in London, right? My fellow Brits. I was checking into a hotel and I heard the most insane thing I've ever heard. What British people call the trunk. Anybody know? I literally couldn't believe my ears whenever I heard it. The boot. He was like, "Bro, I'll go put my luggage in the boot." I was like, "What the fuck did he just say?" The boot? Okay. More power to you. Anyways, trunk. That's the first time I've ever seen trunk. Has Underdog NBA ever once tweeted trunk besides last night? Let's find out. No. This is guys, we made history last night. It's literally the first time in NBA history a player has been out with a trunk injury. We're not clapping for the injury. We're clapping at the fact that we witnessed NBA history last night. That is great. We'll see how Peyton Watson's trunk's doing today. Hopefully it's doing better. But he did leave early in the game and never came back. So it is a little bit weird. Trunk is another word for torso. Okay. Okay, interesting. According to Google, it's the torso. All right. You learn something new every day. That's part of what makes the Slightly Biased Show so great, is we dive into so many different things. Basketball, obviously, but then By the end of it, we're learning something about space. I'm teaching you guys something about medicine. I'm teaching you guys something about psychology, biology, radiology. Like, we're touching all of them. And that's sort of what separates it, right? That's sort of what separates it. So I'm happy you guys are sort of starting to see it. Boot. I mean, I was just shocked. I was like, boot. Huh. One time we did take a bunch of middle school tests, and I aced all of them. No, it was high school. It was high school. It wasn't middle school. Give me some respect. They were high school tests, and we absolutely aced all of them. But anyways, yeah, shout out to Spencer Jones. Wow, I mean, we did all of that from talking about Spencer Jones. Shout out to Spencer Jones, who I thought played incredible defense on Kevin Durant last night. And defensively, I thought he was amazing. And he's this two-way guy. Is he a rookie, or he was there last year, wasn't he? He was there last year. But a two-way guy who's going to have to be – his contract's going to have to be looked at because he's already at 21 games. And those guys always have 50-game minimums or 50 games, and then you have to convert their contract. And they'll do that, I'm imagining, because he's become like a legitimate rotation piece for them. And he also hit a couple of big-time threes in the corner late in this game. I don't know if his offense, truthfully, I don't know much about him. I do know that he's been plugged into the lineup and has been good for them in Christian Brown's absence. But he seems like he could be a playoff rotation guy for them with how well he plays defensively. Tim Hardaway Jr., 2 of 8 from 3 last night, but he's been awesome for the Nuggets. It's just a perfect spot for him, right? We saw it in Dallas, him playing off of Luka, him playing off Jokic, where it's like, dude, just go out there and bomb 8, 9, 10 threes a game. We saw for the Pistons last year how valuable it was for them. I'm here to retroactively give Tim Hardaway Jr. some flowers because I wanted him off the Mavericks because it had just become too much. To be fair, he was making like $20 million for Dallas. But his skill set's just very valuable. I've talked about it before. Volume three-point shooting, sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes these guys go 1 of 8. Sometimes these guys go 2 of 8. But then there's games where they go 6 of 9 and they swing you a basketball game. Sometimes there's games like, I don't know, game 4 of an NBA Finals where these guys set the record for most points scored in a quarter. Sometimes these things happen. So anyways, a really impressive win for the Nuggets in overtime. I mean, this game was crazy. There was that last 2-minute stretch of the regulation when it was Jokic drills a 3, Reed Shepherd drills a 3, Jamal Murray drills a 3, KD drills a 3. Beautiful. And basketball purists, this was a 3-point game. The Nuggets did not foul up 3 late here. They let it play out. Şengün took a god-awful 3 that ended the game. But they let it play out, and we did not get an intentional foul late. How about that? No, Dorian's still not back. Dorian is still not back. So that's something else for the Rockets. You're going to get this guy back. And the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon is... Would saying Aaron Gordon is their second most important player be a little too much? Because I did just say Jamal Murray swings everything for them. But realistically, they can't make a finals run without Aaron Gordon. But they also can't make a finals run without Jamal Murray. Who do you think is more important, Jamal or Aaron Gordon? In the playoffs, it's Jamal? Yeah, probably. You're probably right. That's probably the first right thing you've ever said in chat. I'm just being honest. Pelinka might have been right about Dorian Finney-Smith, but also they really need somebody like Dorian Finney-Smith. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's... I don't know. It might be Aaron Gordon. Anyways, it seems like a stupid thing to even discuss because both of them are very important. In Houston, God, KD, I love his role on this team. I really do. He just takes open shots. He had 5 blocks last night, by the way. He did have 5 turnovers, but there's times out there KD's getting double teamed. Passes it to Şengün. Şengün's getting double-teamed, and you're going to get an open shot off of that. The question is, can these guys on Houston knock down these shots? And I think a reason why teams are so willing to double is because they know we can not guard him in Thompson because his jump shot is the ugliest thing quite possibly of all time. And, when they're doing double bigs, obviously you can help off Steven Adams. Obviously, Okogie was 2 of 3 last night, but teams are clearly comfortable with Okogie shooting a 3. We could even, if KD has the ball, we can help off Şengün to double. So those are going to be interesting things to see how the Rockets sort of answer some of those questions in the playoffs. But yeah, why is Haymaker logo a 6'7"? I think you just have brain rot. I don't think it's that. I think you just have some type of brain rot that probably needs to be studied so we can dissect it in future generations when we talk about how insane this generation is. But anyways, I don't know what you're talking about. Ime Udoka was quite upset after this. Ime Udoka on officiating after this Rockets loss in Denver. Most poorly officiated game I've seen in a long time. 2 have no business being out there, and the crew chief was acting starstruck. Ime Udoka did get a technical in this game, as did Şengün, I believe. God, Udoka is just kind of a maniac, huh? I'm just looking at how he's looking into the camera. It's just like kind of scary. Serial killer vibes almost, which I kind of want for my head coach. Which when Sean Sweeney comes to Dallas next year as a head coach, when Jason Kidd's a GM, I'm hoping that we get some of that sort of psycho. Just judging from the bench, like Sean Sweeney's reactions on the bench over the years, he's crazy. And I do kind of like it. So when Jason Kidd is the GM of the team next year, it'll be really interesting to see what Sean Sweeney does on the bench. But as a Mavs fan, I don't feel as good beating both these teams, seeing who is out. Oh, who cares? These two teams played each other, and it felt like a hard-hitting. Well, who was out for the Şengün didn't play against the Mavs, did he? That's fair. I mean, the Nuggets had this team pretty much against the Mavs. Who else was out? Jamal played in that game, right? Huh. I'm looking at the logo right now. It's not 6'7", guys. It's insane. Come on now. That's crazy. I don't see what you guys see. I don't see it at all. I kind of see it, actually. But I think that's only because you guys said it. I'm looking at it right now. What are you going to do? How about the Clippers, man? Oh. Not only do you get your ass beat by the Memphis Grizzlies, which the Grizzlies have been playing better basketball as of late, but Cam Spencer is talking shit to you at that level. And shout out to the Spencer brothers. But, man, I saw somebody tweet out that that's the lowest point in Clippers history. Like, no, I think the owner saying slurs was probably the lowest, but this could be a close second. Right? Like, they made TV shows about that. I doubt they'll make TV shows about this. But it's up there. And the way they've handled this Chris Paul situation is up there. It's the biggest crisis in the league, fuck. We call them the Crisis Clippers because the NBA is just in a complete and total crisis here with the very real possibility that the Thunder get a top 5 pick in what is a very loaded draft class to continue their dominance and the run that they're on. So, do we just need to accept that the Thunder are getting a high draft pick? Yeah, I mean, they're going to get a high draft pick. Like, that almost feels like a certainty at this point, man. The Clippers are 6-10 and 1-9 in their last 10 games. How? How is this team 1-9 in their last 10 games? It's crazy because a few nights ago, they played this Rockets team we just talked about, and I don't think the Rockets were missing anybody, and the Clippers played them so tough. And if you didn't know any better and you were watching that game, you would have thought, all right, yeah, this Clippers team's like pretty good, right? Their record is horrible. I don't understand it. I didn't think they were. I actually did think they'd be pretty good, but I was a little bit worried about their age, their lack of athleticism. 6-20 to me, there's no way that team isn't in like complete turmoil, which we've already seen glimpses of, but that has to be it, right? Thunder fan saying this? Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe. Kawhi was playing with CP3 like. I had nothing to do with him being cut. So there was a report that came out about the CP3 stuff earlier today, and it sounds like he was almost a scapegoat, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Can we pull this up real quick? Chris Paul reportedly tried to get Brook Lopez to help him get his spot back with the Los Angeles Clippers, per Ramona Shelburne. This is just sad. This whole thing reads so incredibly sad. Around 11 p.m. inside Frank's hotel room at Four Seasons. Isn't White Lotus based off the Four Seasons? There might be a White Lotus situation with the Clippers soon. I mean, just please keep an eye out. He told Paul of the team's plans to send Paul home, adding that he hoped to work with Paul on how the statement would be announced and that he hoped the team could still retire Paul's jersey one day. I don't like referring. I know it's like journalist thing where you mention somebody's full name once and then you go to just their last name. I don't like referring to Chris Paul as Paul. Anytime I see Paul, I think Paul George. Just something to think about if I were the editor of ESPN, which some say I should be. Paul was stunned, sources said, and tried to plead his case. At one point, he brought teammate Brooke Lopez into the room as something of a character witness. Lopez and Leonard were Paul's most ardent supporters on the team, sources said. Paul reminded Frank that he'd asked him to facilitate another meeting with Lou, and that hadn't happened. Frank acknowledged that, but held firm. The decision had been made. So this sounds to me like this was a coaching staff decision. Chris Paul did not get along very much with Ty Lue, and really sounds like Jeff Van Gundy. Like Jeff Van Gundy, to me, it sounds like is who really didn't get along with Chris Paul, and Chris Paul didn't get along much with Jeff Van Gundy. And it seems as though that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But this does feel like a team. Usually you see this like in the NFL, a coaching staff feels the heat. We just fired our quarterback coach. Don't worry, guys. We just solved the crisis. This is kind of what it feels like. How often do NBA teams like fire assistant coaches? I feel like it doesn't happen as much as like coordinators in the NFL. But this feels like don't worry, guys. We got rid of Chris Paul. We fixed all of our problems. I know he's getting 5 minutes a game, but we got rid of Chris Paul, guys. And now the vibes have been saved. We're 6-20. 6-20, bro. That is just absolutely insane. 6-20. They'd have to go on a 14-game winning streak to be 500. Somebody do some quick math. Let's say, how many wins do you think you need to have to make the playoffs consistently? I'd say 48. Like 48 wins probably gets you as the 8th seed year over year. Does that sound right in the Western Conference? What was it last year? Let's see. Last year, yeah, the 8th seed had 48 wins. What pace would they have to play at the rest of the way to get to 48 wins? They'd have to be what? A 65 win pace would be my guess off the top of my head. Like they'd have to play like one of the greatest basketball teams of all time between now and the end of the season to salvage an 8th seed. I mean, if I'm them, it sucks because you don't have your draft picks. It sucks because you have no good young players. Like you can convince yourselves about Kobe Sanders and whatever all you want, right? But the reality is you don't have any young guys that you can give the keys to. The way when we talk about the Mavs, like trading away AD and stuff, they got Cooper Flagg. You give the keys to Cooper Flagg, and you get out the way. The Kings kind of a similar spot, but hey, at least you've got Nick Clifford, who looks kind of interesting. At least you've got Maxime Reynaud. So it's like, all right, we've got these guys. Give them the keys. Keegan Murray, give them the keys, and let's move forward. Who do the Clippers have? This is one of the worst situations I can think of. They are in maybe the worst situation in the league. Is that crazy to say? I mean, the roster is old as dirt. Who are their young guys, man? YKN, Yannick. What'd you make of the Ty Lue video? Was that the one of the practice where he was shitting on Chris Paul? I mean, that looked like that was before the season started, and Chris Paul was still on the team. Clips would need to win 42 of the last 56 games. So they'd have to go 42-14 over their last 56 games. What's that pace? I mean, that's a 60-plus win pace, isn't it? So that they're going to be a lottery team, no matter what. Now, could we as the Western Conference sort of band together? Let's say the Clippers work their way up to the 10 seed somehow. And hey, maybe they play the Mavs in the 9-10 game. The Mavs say, hey, we wouldn't mind the lottery pick. We don't want the Thunder to get a lottery pick. Oh, man. AD's out. AD's out with a foot contusion. Like, what? Yeah, AD's out with a foot contusion. And PJ strained his wrist. He's out. And Coop's on a minute restriction. Why is Coop on a minute restriction? We're just watching his minutes. It's been a long season. Mavs lose. Then whoever's the 7-8 team loses intentionally. Then the Clippers make the playoffs. That have to be our saving grace. We'd have to band together these lottery teams, which the Mavericks are currently still a lottery team. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at last year. They were a lottery team or a play-in team. The Mavericks are currently outside looking in the play-in tournament. That's okay. That's all right, guys. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Every team just needs to come to an agreement, let the Clippers win. Yes. Agreed. Honestly. No bullshit. I actually might agree. 6-20 is just absolutely nuts. I still don't get it. And Cam Spencer. Like, Cam Spencer, pull this highlight up, please. If this gets done on you at this stage of your season when you're 6-20, and Cam Spencer's doing this, oh my God. That's a tough pill to swallow right there. That's a tough pill to swallow. By the way, shout out to the Grizzlies who are playing better basketball as of late. And shout out to the Spencer bros. I mean, they're kind of one of the bigger storylines. Cam Spencer was kind of hooping last year. Remember him and Kevin Durant got into it. What if I told you the Mavs have been tanking since the Luka trade? Well, that's news to Nico Harrison. Is it over if OKC gets one of AJ Boozer or Peterson? What do you think, man? They're going to win 70 games this year. They're almost certainly going to repeat as champions. And they get a consensus top 3 guy. What do you think, man? Can you imagine Darren Peterson and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander together? Now, Darren Peterson's hamstrings might be cooked. I don't know what's going on there. He's a Thunder fan. Of course, he's going to say yes. Guys, I'm not a Thunder fan. Okay? Please ignore that, chat. I'm not a Thunder fan. That's beneath you to even suggest that. That's beneath you. Speaking of some of the lottery stuff and draft, the end of each stream, I usually like to just scroll through NBA Central. It's one of these shitty aggregator accounts. But you know what? Sometimes aggregators deserve some love because they give us information that otherwise we probably wouldn't have seen. But then sometimes you also get like, Jason Williams predicts Giannis Antetokounmpo and John Morant will end up in Miami. It's like, okay, wait, hold on. Pull this up real quick. Oh, fuck. Do we have any hats in here? This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. Can I be this guy? Can I be this guy? We've done this bit before. I really am making an effort to, there you go. The interns came through. I really am making an effort to be the white guy player podcast co-host. Do you think the Lakers could get Giannis, Jokic, and Anthony Edwards? You do? Facts. What was your welcome to the NBA moment? Do you think World War II happened? Do you think World War II happened or no? Low key though, Kobe Bryant or Monte Ellis or LeBron James? Yeah, I kind of think Monte too. Facts. Would you date an OnlyFans model?
That looks great, dude.
You would? Great. Facts. Were we on January 6th? It's just like, it's what was your welcome to the NBA moment? Kobe Bryant or LeBron? And then I'm going to ask a question now that's going to get aggregated and your team's going to have a meeting with you. That just seems to be the role of the player podcast host. Yeah, that's true. Kobe hit me up that one day too. Kobe, Tim Duncan better than Kobe. Yeah, I said it. I don't even think that's that unpopular of an opinion, right? I don't think that. Anyways, where was I going with that? Oh. So this is what I'm saying. These accounts are nice, but then it's like Jason Williams predicts that Giannis and John Morant will end up in Miami. Okay. But there was this one report I thought was kind of interesting. Jake Fisher said that Jake Fisher believes that Miami Heat could have the best trade path for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I agree. That's my Giannis prediction, is that he ends up in Miami. Makes the most sense. But this one right here, oh, Lord. There was a report that yesterday that the Bucks were going to try to do whatever they could to keep Giannis. Now, they do have 2 picks, I believe, they can play around with. The Milwaukee Bucks are doing everything in their power to convince Giannis to stay and have expressed interest in Zach LaVine and Jeremy Grant. What the fuck are we doing? I think at this point, if they brought me in to be sort of a consultant for their front office, I'd pull them aside and say, hey, listen to the words that just came out of your mouth. Zach LaVine, okay? It's over and it's cooked. We should try and just kind of maximize our return on Giannis. It sucks, but it is what it is. If you trade whatever assets you have left for Zach LaVine, it is over. Like, we will be at the bottom of the totem pole for 10 years. And I'm not exaggerating. It'll be 10 years before we're able to even begin to crawl out of this hole. 10 years. Ryan Rollins, LaVine, Jeremy Grant, Giannis, Turner, solid first round exit. How the fuck are they? Those guys, Jeremy Grant and Zach LaVine make like $110 million combined, don't they? Maybe not $110 million, but $100. Please don't do that. Please. Oh my God. If I'm a Bucks fan, I am on hands and knees. Like I'd rather just pull the plug. Pull the plug on the Giannis thing versus trading for Zach LaVine. Please. Please. Now, I would say, if we're just going to do this for every single team, I would say this could be like the desperate Anthony Davis team. But again, I don't even know what the Bucks would send you. Miles Turner and Kuzma. Maybe some of those future firsts could be valuable. But I mean, that's pretty disgusting. Any Dorito-addicted basement-dwelling fan on the Bucks Reddit could do better than that shit suggestion. What about a Cheeto-addicted one? Think about it. They love their cheese up there in Wisconsin. Anyways, can you imagine? Zach LaVine. Oh, please don't do that. Please, Milwaukee. For your fans' sake, man. Like, just pull the plug before you do that. That is so disgusting. What was the rookie report? Oh, yeah. An anonymous NBA scout says Cam Boozer doesn't have potential to be the best player on a championship team like Darren Peterson and A.J. DeBonza do. Can you put the ball in his hands and you know he's going to be able to get a bucket or create something at the end of a game when the game's on the line? Is he good enough at the NBA level? It's not a knock on Cam. It's just that those other 2 guys have the potential to be the best player on NBA championship teams. So I think I actually kind of get what this guy's saying. And this guy's an NBA scout. I mean, I don't know what that means. Am I technically an NBA scout? I watch a lot of NBA. So in some ways, I think I am an NBA scout. But anyways, I feel like this is almost kind of similar to some of the discussion that like surrounded Coop at times last year. Cam Boozer just seems to make the right play over and over and over and over and over. And maybe he has right play-itis where it's just, hey, man, at some point, you just got to shoot. And that's one thing about Coop where he's shown improvements. And it's kind of bizarre to say this because Coop's such a, I'm going to do the right play over and over and over again, right? That early on in the season was like, dude, yeah, but sometimes you just got to shoot. Like, we'll go down with you taking 20 shots. It's okay. And he's, over time, has kind of learned that and has become more aggressive. Cam Boozer, I feel like could have that. But, you know, I scroll down. I'm scrolling. Are you under here or something? Anyways, like Cam Boozer's playing great for Duke and scoring at a high level. And I got to admit, I'm not watching, right? That's what separates me from others. I'll just tell you, I'm not watching them. But these guys who like dominate at the college level, I feel like we overthink it way too much, especially a guy like this, where it's like this guy makes the right play every time. No need to overthink it. Is Coop an all-star right now? No, probably not. Probably not, unfortunately. It would be cool, but I mean, think about what you're talking about when you say all-star, right? Jeff Teague says Cade Cunningham should win MVP over players like SGA, Luka, and Jokic. Okay, I don't need to see the rest of the quote. I'll believe that he said that. I don't need to see the rest of the quote there. Patrick Beverley is signing a deal overseas to play with PAOK BC in Greece. Congratulations to Patrick Beverley. Congratulations. How far does a Rollins, Green, Trent, AD, Giannis team go in the East? Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, Gary Trent, AD, and Giannis. Yeah, that team's still not very good, huh? And you do have two injury-prone players because Giannis is injury-prone, right? Like he just is. He just is. They recoup assets by trading for those contracts. You're not seeing the vision. Wait, who would? What if you can get Keon Ellis and Zach LaVine? How many King? Okay, I got to say this. All the Keon Ellis talk. I do think Keon Ellis is a good, solid player. Like, definitely a rotation player. Definitely there's some teams that could use some defense and stuff that Keon Ellis could help out. How many Kings games have some of these people who are adamant Keon Ellis guys watched? How many? Because I think he's just what I described. You're like your seventh guy off the bench, maybe on like a really good team. Just kind of my thoughts. Just kind of my thoughts. All right, I think that's pretty much all I had today. I'm liking. I know some of you guys like when we just go absurdly long, but I do kind of like the that we need to lock in a little bit more because sometimes I just talk about absolute nonsense. Tonight, NBA Cup Championship, Spurs versus Knicks. Man, ESPN. Let's look at this website. ESPN. I mean, holy hell, man. Do I not have ad blocker on? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ads. What are these ads? Pull the screen up. We might get demonetized if we show this. Why is that sleep apnea? Christ almighty. Spurs Knicks. Is Wemby playing in this game? Do we know that for sure? I hope he does. But how about this? Wemby, big stage. Is it crazy to say biggest game of Wemby's career? I mean, it is. New York Knicks, they've been so good as of late, representing the Eastern Conference. It's them and the Pistons, I think, right now, clear cut, above everybody else. What a fun matchup. What a fun matchup. Do we know for sure that Wemby's playing? We still getting stream highlight videos like from the game watch parties? So last night I didn't have one because it got copyright striked, or not copyright striked, but it got blocked. And I was not about to spend another 2 hours editing it. They're getting a little bit more and more difficult, so I don't know. Anytime there's not one, it's because they've been copyright striked. So what's a realistic move the Mavs can make to make them better right now? I mean, they could trade for a guard. Like I can't imagine Kobe White's market's that crazy. They could swing a Kobe White trade. The question is, would it be worth it? You know, that's something that you really want to do is make that move for Kobe White. You just asked Wemby and he said he should be good to go. Okay. All right. Low Maximus asked Wemby and Wemby's playing according to Low Maximus. So there we have it. Thank you guys for tuning in today. It was a lot of fun. Tuesdays and Thursdays for the time being. We will be here at the studio and I'm posting you up. This is a regulation size ball, by the way. Look how easily I palm it. Huh? It's a little slick, right? It's a little slick. But thank you all for tuning in. If you guys have not liked the stream, make sure you do so. If you guys are not subscribed to me, Slightly Biased, and to the Haymaker channel, make sure you do so. The link is in the description for the Haymaker channel. All of the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Tuesday anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. I'll be live over at my channel to watch the Cup final tonight. Would you ever do an NBA live chat Q&A? You seem like one of the few streamers who watch basketball. I know what you're talking about. Isn't every stream a Q&A? Are all these Q&As? What do you prefer, us watching here or the Haymaker stream? Just subscribe to both. Haymaker seems like the one that we're pushing. Are they going to convert Nimby's contract? It sounds like they'll do it when they have to do it. And then Thursday, when we have this show again, Nick will be here. So it'll be me and Nick Angstadt. You guys might know him. We're going to just talk some Mavs, talk some hoops, talk about some recent scientific developments, talk about some geopolitics as well. Just a whole lot going on, okay? Always attack your day like this guy. Right here. Always. Love you all. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Who's it gonna be? My brain's gonna explode. My brain's gonna explode. There's something sinister afoot.